Hello, NBA fans. Daily news about the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm a fan of the Lakers show and I hope you'll subscribe to the channel and give it a like. Dyson Daniels is one of the league's best defenders and has excellent steals. The Lakers will need the perfect signing if they can pull off this deal. Dyson Daniels and the Atlanta Hawks are far apart on an extension, opening the door for the Los Angeles Lakers. Life for restricted free agents was abysmal during the 2025 offseason. Josh Giddey was really the only one among the group to get a deal anywhere close to a desirable contract. That could spell trouble for next year's crop, including Dyson Daniels of the Atlanta Hawks. Jake Fisher came around with his latest roundup of NBA intel. After a grueling summer for the restricted free agents, the NBA insider dove into some of the noteworthy rookie-scale extension candidates who are entering the last year of their current contracts. Jalen Duren and Daniels commanded the bulk of his attention, with Fisher of the belief that either could command offer sheets at $30 million per season if they were to hit the open market next offseason. Despite that, there was no impression the Hawks and Daniels were close to an agreement. Fisher wrote, "I'm hearing there's indeed some distance between Daniels and the Hawks in the early stages of these negotiations. He would thus figure to be a restricted free agent in demand next summer, even if RFAs in 2026 are confronted by another suffocating marketplace. Dyson Daniels would bring defensive boost Lakers are craving on the perimeter. Trading for Daniels could be tricky for the Lakers, given the talented perimeter stopper is only earning $7.7 million in 2025-26, and the lackluster asset pool that Los Angeles possesses. A deal here would likely need to involve multiple teams, not just the Lakers and Hawks. Still, it should be worth Rob Pelinka's time to at least check in on the availability of Daniels before the eventual NBA trade deadline in February. Last year's breakout season with the Hawks has earned the 22-year-old that type of warranted due diligence. Daniels averaged 14.1 points, 5.9 rebounds, and 4.4 assists, while leading the league in steals per game with 3.0. The Hawks guard registered shooting splits of 49-34-59, posting his best true shooting percentage of his career at 54.5. The efficiency with Daniels still leaves a lot of room to be desired. However, last year's Most Improved Player and Defensive Player of the Year runner-up brings so much more to the table than his scoring alone. Besides, Luka Doncic creates openings offensively like few others in the NBA. The potential addition of Daniels' elite defense far outweighs any concerns on the other end. If the Lakers do not find an acceptable trade ask for the potential restricted free agent that they like, they can certainly revisit this conversation next summer and throw an offer sheet at Daniels. However, time is of the essence in Los Angeles. Doncic and company want to win now. If there are reservations about committing to Daniels for the long term in Atlanta, the Lakers need to gauge the price of the rising star. Lakers' biggest rotation battle already looks settled after second preseason game. Gabe Vincent will get the backup guard spot over Bronny James for the Los Angeles Lakers. Recap for October 5. Bronny James is just not ready to overtake Gabe Vincent for a spot in the rotation for the Los Angeles Lakers. After only 2 preseason games, that much looks obvious. After missing the Lakers' first matchup against the Phoenix Suns, Vincent made his preseason debut against the Golden State Warriors. It was a 103-11 loss, but the team results do no count just yet. What does count is how much more polished the veteran guard looked than his younger counterpart. Vincent scored 16 points and added 5 assists, shooting 4 of 9 from the field and 3 of 7 from beyond the arc. That is exactly the kind of stability that a team wants out of their backup point guard. Bronny continued to look like the unproven developmental project that a sophomore player taken in the second round of the NBA draft tends to be. After a strong summer league, the hype train for James was rampant. After just 2 games of preseason, the Lakers' decision on what to do with their young guard should be crystal clear. Bronny James needs more time to develop for the Lakers. This conversation could begin and end with shot making. James has been brutal in that aspect during the preseason thus far. Bronny shot 1 of 12 from the field against the Suns in the Lakers' first contest. His only made bucket came from beyond the arc, but that area would not be highlighted as a positive. James connected on 1 of 8 from three-point land. Naturally, evaluating preseason for shot making is not always a reliable experience. However, with James, it is abundantly clear the level of comfort that one would have hoped was being developed is just not where it needs to be. Bronny looked a bit better against the Warriors, but nowhere near enough to make one feel good about his presence. James had 5 points, shooting 2 of 6 from the field and 1 of 3 from deep. The second-year guard also gave away 5 turnovers in this one. Extending this conversation past the offensive struggles, the defense, which is supposed to be his strong point, still lacks refinement. James has struggled navigating screens and sticking with his man. The tenacious defense that one would want to see out of someone as athletic as the Lakers guard has not provided the necessary results. There is still time for James to turn things around and render this assessment premature. However, for a team wishing to pursue a championship in 2025-26, Vincent is the much safer option off the bench. The veteran has certainly had his fair share of low points in purple and gold. Even so, there are far less variables with the 29-year-old. Shorthanded Lakers drop second game of preseason. Without LeBron James, Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, among others, the Lakers dropped their second game of the preseason, 111-103. A fourth-quarter rally made the final score look closer than the game was for much of the second half as Golden State led by as many as 24 points. While LA was undermanned, the Warriors had their full lineup and rotation available, leading to the disparity for much of the game. Gabe Vincent ended with 16 points and 5 assists in 19 minutes. Jared Vanderbilt had 9 points with 7 rebounds, 4 assists and 3 steals in 21 minutes. DeAndre Ayton scored 7 points with 7 rebounds and 2 blocks in 21 minutes as well. Dalton Knecht and RJ Davis pitched in with a combined 23 points off the bench. Jake LaRavia had 10 points with 3 assists. Ayton started things offensively for the Lakers with a quick 4 points while Vanderbilt was flying around the floor defensively. Vincent drained a three-pointer to put LA up by 5 early. Golden State responded well with 8 points to put themselves in the lead. Ayton had missed 2 lobs, but was able to rectify that by connecting on 1 from LaRavia. Steph Curry scored 6 straight, forcing Los Angeles to take a timeout. After the break, Rui Hachimura converted on a mid-range jumper. The Warriors then scored 5 straight. LA was shooting 37% from the field, struggling to develop some consistency with their offense. They had gone 3 minutes without scoring a field goal before Knecht knocked down a three-pointer to stop the drought. Vanderbilt drained a three-pointer as LA's offense woke up, eventually ending the quarter on a 15-5 scoring run. Vincent followed his nice first quarter with a three-pointer to open the second period. He was on fire from behind the arc, knocking down yet another one, giving him 16 points. Vanderbilt was always having a great game, converting on a layup to push his point total to 7. LaRavia impressed with a couple of fancy layups. The game was tied with 7:51 left until halftime. Jimmy Butler converted on a three-point play to put the Warriors up by 1. Davis drained a three-pointer. Ayton was having another excellent defensive showing with 2 blocks and 7 rebounds. Los Angeles was shooting 46% from behind the arc, a major turnaround from the 17% they managed in their first preseason outing. LA once again went on a scoring drought, allowing Golden State to go on a 10-0 run to end the half and head into the locker rooms up 7. The Warriors opened the second half on fire from behind the arc, with Moses Moody draining 2 of the 4 they made. LaRavia scored another 4 points to bring his point total to 10. Golden State was now shooting 51% from 3, which was one of the biggest reasons they took full control of the game. Knecht connected with Jackson Hayes for a dunk, one of the few nice moments of a rough third quarter for LA. At the 4:56 mark, Bronny James scored his first points off a three-pointer. Going into the fourth, Los Angeles was down 22. The final frame allowed several players to showcase their skills. Nate Williams and Anton Watson both knocked down three-pointers. Bronny had a big putback jam off a missed three-pointer from Knecht. Golden State went on a scoring drought, which led to a 12-2 scoring run for the Lakers. With 1:50 left in the game, LA found themselves down by just 8, but there wasn't enough time to complete a fun comeback. Jared Vanderbilt already forcing Lakers to rethink their rotation. The Los Angeles Lakers may want to reconsider their starting lineup. Jared Vanderbilt is finally healthy again for the Los Angeles Lakers, and the results have been easy to see on the floor during the preseason. There have only been 2 games thus far, but the Lakers forward has easily played the part of the most active player on the floor for Los Angeles. The Lakers lost 103-111 against the Golden State Warriors in their second matchup of the preseason. Wins and losses are ultimately not how one measures preseason. The tune-up games are used to find vital information about the members of the team, coaching schemes, etc. One of the biggest takeaways thus far has been how great Vanderbilt looks during the preseason. The counting stats against the Warriors included 9 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, shooting 4 of 8 from the field. Halftime, Warriors 62, Lakers 55. The shorthanded Lakers hung around with Golden State's regulars for a half. GS is resting its starters in the second half. Gabe Vincent has 16 points and 4 assists. Bondo is everywhere 9 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists and 3 steals. DK has 8. The real point of focus though is the defense and hustle. The Lakers currently lack that sort of presence among their starting lineup. While the attention surrounding the fifth starter has been mostly between Rui Hachimura, Marcus Smart, and even Jake LaRavia, to a lesser extent, Vanderbilt is proving himself worth a strong look. Lakers preseason unveiling Jared Vanderbilt hype is very real. A lot of training camp and preseason had Lakers players and coaches all saying the same thing: this has been the best Vanderbilt has looked in a long time. That much is quickly proving to be true. Vanderbilt made his impact with his relentless defensive pressure during the 2023 postseason run to the Western Conference Finals for the Lakers. That was the best version of the two-way forward this franchise has gotten until now. Having that sort of defensive stopper would patch a major hole among the starters in Los Angeles. Granted, basketball runs both ways, and Vanderbilt's problem in recent years has been his offense. However, making an impact on that end is a lot easier once Luka Doncic is back on the floor. Vanderbilt has never been a strong offensive player. There have even been times when the term black hole would have been a fair assessment of his play on that end. A version of Vanderbilt that has his athleticism back under him is one that can make cuts towards the basket when defenses forget about him. That is something Doncic can take advantage of. Adding a reliable three-point jumper certainly would not hurt either. There has been some excitement regarding that shot coming along, but those results have not fully materialized on the court just yet. Still, throwing Vanderbilt among the starters would allow the Lakers a player to build defensive game plans around. The veteran forward is certainly not the perfect option. However, for a team that is begging for a perimeter stopper, Vanderbilt should not be ignored completely. 3 studs from Lakers preseason game versus Warriors on Sunday. The Los Angeles Lakers took the court on Sunday against the Golden State Warriors for their second preseason game of the 2025-26 schedule. In their first game on Friday, they looked ragged as they fell 103-81 to the Phoenix Suns, but they showed some improvement on Sunday. After getting off to a slow start, they were able to muster 31 points in the first quarter and end the period down by just 1. They lost ground in the next 2 quarters and surrendered 40 points in the third quarter, and while they outscored Golden State 23-9 in the fourth quarter, they lost by a final score of 111-103. Los Angeles shot a decent 35.3% from three-point range, and 3 players in particular stood out for them at Chase Center in San Francisco. DeAndre Ayton. Ayton had 2 blocks and 8 rebounds in 18 minutes on Friday, and afterward, he said he wanted to show that he was committed to being a presence on the defensive end. That commitment seemed to be there again on Sunday. Looking for a free mini puzzle? Play the USA Today Quick Cross now. He played 21 minutes and had another 2 blocks, as well as 7 rebounds. On Friday, the Lakers barely got him involved offensively, but this time, he made 3 of his 8 shot attempts to score 7 points. Ayton's offense will come. He's way too skilled to not be a legitimate offensive threat on this team as the season moves along. But his defense, especially his rim protection, will be the biggest key to his individual game this season, and consistent rim protection from him can single-handedly raise the team's overall ceiling. Jared Vanderbilt. This summer was the first one since 2022 that Vanderbilt was healthy and able to work on his game. On Sunday, he looked a lot like the old version of himself prior to the foot injury that kept him out for roughly a full calendar year. He did a little bit of seemingly everything. In 21 minutes, he had 9 points on 4 of 8 shooting, 7 rebounds, 4 assists and 3 steals, and he was active as usual on the defensive end. He even hit 1 3-pointer in 3 attempts from that distance. Gabe Vincent. Vincent has always been a solid on-the-ball defender on the perimeter. But if he ever becomes a consistent 3-point shooter, it would open up more opportunities for himself and, by extension, the team. Versus Golden State, he went 3 of 7 from downtown and finished with 16 points and 5 assists in 19 minutes. With LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Marcus Smart and Austin Reeves out of action, Vincent was LA's starting point guard, and he did a solid job of playing his role.